Millennials in Money, Robinhood, Betterment, and Acorns are just some of the fintech firms fighting for Gen Z and Millennials money. With us now is Ahon, Sarkar, the general manager of Helix. Thanks so much for being with us. And your platform is behind Acorns and Betterment, is it not?
That's right, yeah. They've built their sort of custom banking products on the Helix platform.
So are millennials shaking up the banking industry?
Absolutely. I think in the last handful of years, you've seen this new technology, banking as a service, take the scene where until about 5 years ago, the only people who could offer banking products were banks. And that's probably why you and I have basically the same product, maybe with slightly different colors. But in the last 5 years or so, you've seen companies like Credit Karma and Acorns and Robinhood and Apple launch unique financial services that are kind of shaking up the space of financial services overall. I think for millions of millennials and Gen Z across the country, these new products are a breath of fresh air that are bringing the transformation that we've seen in the technology industry to banking and to finance. So that means free products that don't fee you to death. That means unique products that solve for different problems. And that means products that are built around us. Just like Netflix and Google and Facebook understand you, the financial products are starting to understand you as well. And so as these new products hit the scene, I think you're seeing consumers flock to them as they're giving them better options that aren't one size fits all and that actually solve a material problem for them.
What do millennials want most when it comes to banking?
I think for most consumers, an increase in the number of free, diverse options for them to actually solve the problems in their lives is a really good thing. But much like storing money around different parts of your house, my advice to consumers would be only use products if you genuinely think they'll be useful for you. If you decide to stop using products, send that money back to your core account and constantly consider the options that you have. Because if you have a handful of different products that are solving different problems for you that you use, that's great. But if you've stored money on all these different types of accounts and you forget about them, well, that's your money. You want to make sure that you have access to it. So on net, for most consumers, more options is a good thing as it gives them greater choice and a more higher likelihood that they'll solve their problem. But you just have to be careful to keep track of where you're keeping your money.
I am a bit concerned about the longevity of some of these fintech firms. They're popping up all over the place, and compared to maybe a Chase or a Fifth Third that's been around for a long time, I'm not so sure how long some of these fintechs will last.
That's a great way of looking at it. I think one interesting thing that we didn't talk about is that it's not just the company who's launching the products. It's the company partnering with a bank. So for the Credit Karmas and Betterments and Acorns of the world, there is a bank who's been launching banking services, sitting behind and partnering with that fintech to help bring a responsible solution into the market. I think to your question, for platforms like Helix, the important thing is partnering with the right companies, the companies who are ready to launch these types of products and are cognizant of what type of involvement that takes from them, and then matching them with the right bank partners, people that will be responsible, will adhere to regulation, and will help these companies launch financial products for the first time. So I think if you pick the right fintech or technology company partners, you enable them with platforms like Helix that help them build things responsibly, and then you partner them with banks who really know this space and can help ensure that the consumer is front of mind, you can limit a lot of that risk that you're worried about.
Well, thank you for all of your information and for coming on our show.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.